plan for this episode was to try and start looking at the floor pan. In reality, all we've managed to do is get the wire and loom out of the way and clear off and work out how far bent out of position that support structure has been bent. So it's not the most interesting episode, if I say so myself, but it's all part of the process. Right, so the next significant piece of work is to get this floor pan in. In order to do that, I've got this big hole in the transmission tunnel that needs fixing, and I'm not quite sure how far I would need to go up with that fix. But I think that would probably be easier to do prior to putting in the floor. But the other thing is, I'm not quite sure where the floor levels up, because you'll remember when we were jacking up at one point and this bent loose. So in order to fix that, we're going to have to first of all get all of this stuff out up at the top, and we're going to get that out so that we've got more room to work, and then we can start comparing it to the other side. I don't know if getting this bit out means taking everything out, so we're going to look at that and see where we go. So this might be a bit of a tear down in order to get in there. Right, so I think from what I've seen, to get this out, start again. To get this out, the heater unit, first of all I've got to get the wiring out of the way. So that I can see where everything goes. So I think this is basically going to be, instead of taking loads of photographs, my approach to it. We'll add on some, we'll put some tape on these so that I can see, but you can see that I've already got things where I really don't know where they go, because most of it wasn't connected up in the first place, and then we got things like this here. So we're going to be buying a new wiring loom anyway, and we've got relays in here and all kinds of stuff, and I really have no idea where any of it goes, so that's going to be fun putting back together. But we'll mark this up as best we can with what we've got. We'll use this to, for example, pick out that we've got some, I don't know what this is, condenser or relay or something in there. Roughly where things lie. These obviously are for the winder, the electronic winder that was on here. I don't know what this relay's for or where it was connected up. These were the lights that were on the instrument panel, and another. Okay, this was just all piled in here, and then we go over to the other side. So what we'll start is we'll label up this side a bit. We will then pull the wires through out of the door, and we'll work around to take it all out. Because from what I can tell, the heater unit really just looks like it's held on with a couple of bolts from the other side. You know, so it's slotted in and then bolted in from the other side, but I then can't lift it here, so there must be something else somewhere that's holding it. And I don't know if it's the way it's bolted onto this, and that this is actually fixed down or something. That might actually be the case. Yeah, so it might be that it's bolted onto this unit. Yeah, that looks right now. So it's bolted onto that as well. Okay, so but we're going to have to take all of this out anyway at some point. And so we might as well try doing it now. perhaps. Can I get that out without taking out the wiring? Actually, I probably can. Maybe we'll try to do it without taking out the wiring, actually. Right, so with the heater, I've cut the two pipes because I can't budge them. And I cut them on this side rather than the heater side because I don't know how they're connected in on the heater side. And there were two bolts, one here and one over there somewhere. Not at the same level, the other one seems to be lower down. So I took those off. I drained the coolant first, and you can see it here. And again, I cut that pipe because I simply couldn't budge it. But this is what the coolant looks like. I don't know what that stuff is in at the bottom, but not much came out either. And then on the inside, I think it's just a bolt there, and same on the other side there that need removing. And I think this now will move. I'm not sure though, so I'm going to put this away again and try to remove it. Right. Remember, this is also that we can fix the floor pan, but the wiring harness has to come out anyway. And I've just started doing this side. Now this is the connection to the passenger door harness. So that's the passenger door harness, and yet I've got all of these other wires going through, and they come through and they go through all the way up here into this mass of wires and into this, which I didn't know what it was for, and then they continue on along the other side and go through the door harness there. And they come in, I mean, it's all of this, okay? And so what I think these are, in all probability, is the winding mechanism, the electronic winders that were on this door, not on this door, but were on the dash. Now I intend to go back to manual winders, because of the... Well, why do I intend to go back to manual winders? I don't know actually, but I certainly can't use this because I don't have the unit for the right hand side. So if I install electronic winders again, I'm going to have to buy a new kit anyway. And I'm trying to preserve this wiring loom, because even though it isn't in the best condition, I would rather repair it than buy new, because actually because of the things that were missing from the boot, and you know, there are expenses that I would rather try avoiding now, so that I don't end up, you know, making this £100,000 car. So I think I'm going to make this just easier to understand and see, is just rip out all of the electronic winding stuff if I can work my way through it. That probably means I have to take it out of here first still anyway, but I think that's what we're going to look to do, because you can see, I mean, it just, a huge number of wires, and it will just make everything simpler to understand. And it's no wonder it was being so hard for me to work out what's going where. Yeah, so that's all we're going to look at. I've managed to take apart most of the wiring looms, so we have the main loom here. This is all radio that hangs off it, about radio and vanity lights, and it doesn't have, in here, it doesn't have a So one of these connections, it's been bolted on with electricity connections like these, so I can't really take it apart. We have one wire from here, this one, and that runs back to the positive terminal, so that's clearly been set up so that the radio doesn't need the ignition on in order to turn on. So I can disconnect that and pull that through, and I then have my radio clear. Over on the floor I've got a lot of the other smaller harnesses, so things that go to bits, and I've just, because I wasn't sure what they were, I've just gone through and I've just numbered them. So 2 here matches with 2 over there, 1 here matches with 1. That way I can, when I can get it out, I can lay it out and look at it more sensibly. And then all of this over here is for the windows, the electric windows. Now this cable here, assuming that's in, this runs through to the positive battery. So again, that's so that the windows can be done when the ignition is off. And this one I haven't worked out where it runs yet, because it's knotted in there. So I need to work through and see if I can work out where that, and work out how to disconnect that. Then I would have all of my electrics separate. So if I want to put the electric windows back in, I can, and I haven't cut anything, which is actually a much better approach. Problem I have actually right now is I can't get them out of this door, because really to get these wires through I need to be able to have the door wide open, and this is currently as far as it will go because of where I've got it in the garage. So this lot plus the bit for the passenger door, which would I presume just be about the lock, making sure the door is closed. We're just going to have to tape to the side for a little bit whilst we get it out of the way. But we can pull that wire through, and get everything sort of out of the way at least. I then need to think about what I'm going to do with all of this. Do I want to pull the wiring out of the engine just yet, to get it completely out of the way, or if I tie it all up high by the windscreen, then that should give me the room to work down here, which is actually what I need. And therefore probably what I'm going to do for now. But we will disconnect the radio from in there, so that we've just got a single, and we'll disconnect this just so we can get things as far out of the way as possible. I've disconnected the positive, the cable that goes to the radio from the positive terminal of the battery, and I've disconnected the cable that goes to the positive terminal of the battery and comes through to the electric windows. Okay, so everything over here is now electric windows, and some of it still goes into the door, which I haven't been able to get out yet. So I'm going to basically just tie this up out of the way over here to keep it out of my way. We have got one wire here, okay, which they've put a couple of wires in. And although it looks complicated, it basically comes through, hopefully I've got it in picture, into here on the fuse box. Okay, so it goes into the green wires, so they cut into a green wire here, alright, and they've split that green wire up into 2. Now I don't know what the green is there, and I don't think I need to, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open that up, pull the black out, close it up again. Later I'll come back to it and use some heat shrink over it to secure that a bit better. But for now, I don't have a heat gun, so for now I'll just do that. So that would then clear this bit of wiring loom completely out of the way. Great. Then on the other thing that it has on it, which again I'm not going to worry about, is it was also connected up to the harness for the ignition. Okay, but they have the ignition cables are all cut, so I've had to buy a new harness anyway for the other end. So if I'm not connecting it up again, then that should be fine. That can all go. So this, in effect, should then all come up out of the way, and we're good. Okay. Now the other place that we've got a strange connection is here. So we've got the radio. So everything over here. And I don't really like the way it's been connected in here again, but everything over here is radio. Okay. And everything this way is vanity lights or bits on the dash. And then they have this one cable in between. And this on it says ground. So, and I'm going to believe, I'll take this off and look at it again. I'll take off my bit of tape, but I'll see what I've got in here. But I suspect, oh, it might even be that. Well, it's not, but so these were in here like that. Okay, and but again, so they've just come in and earthed it effectively on here, because these are all earthed. Well, you know, it can be ground anywhere, it can be earthed anywhere, so I'm going to again pop this out, get this out of the way, and that way, and then I'll have to just ground it somewhere else in the future, and that way I've got things kind of distinct, which I think is better, and I can then work from there. So at that point I'm just going to move all of this stuff out of the way and start looking at what I can do down here. I need to sort out my storage. Okay, so with the wiring out the way, I've been able to cut this out, and I've measured, I'm assuming that, remember everything's up on stands, so none of these measurements would meet a regular car, but both sides are up on stands, and the stands are in the same place right here under this chassis rail, or they're as close to it as I can get. So, and so I've measured the outside here down to the ground on the other side, and it's exactly that length. So if I do it here, we've got that much difference, so it's about an inch and a half. So this side here I need to get down an inch and a half in order to level it out, which kind of seems about right. It needs to be, the sill here needs to be fixed. Okay, and I mean this sill, if it's in here, you can see this sill has got no bottom currently. Okay, so all of that needs to be fixed first. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to clear up this sill here. And actually that probably means doing the strengthener here as well, thinking about it. So I think what we're going to do probably is we're going to cut out more of the outer sill, so we can see the whole way along, and then look to fix the strengthener and the inner sill, and then we'll look to lower this into place and get that nice and secure, and then we can worry about the floor pan. So we've got a long way to go yet to get this bit done, but you know, you can see I've got quite a lot of holes in there. And then this bit in here, it's I was going to say it looks rusted on the inside here, but actually no, those look like it's deliberate. So there's a small hole there, but other than that it looks fairly deliberate. Had a bit of a problem here, drilling out the spot weld. I went too far, so I'll have to get some brass or copper behind that and fill in the hole. Or do a spot weld from underneath, might be easier. So we've got tennis tonight, so we're going to stop now, and we're going to then go on it. You know, me saying that there's nothing under here is a bit misleading, because of course the outer sill isn't there, so of course there's nothing there. It's only when you get to the inner sill back here that the strengthener, that there's anything connecting it up, because all of the outer sill rotted away. So anyway, so we're going to cut that out, and then we're going to take a look. Now, in order to break these up sensibly, I might stop this episode here and then do an episode on fixing the sill. We'll see how we get on. Well, I'll have a look at what I've got in terms of footage and go from there. So that's where we are.